I'm Emma,
Ladies and gentlemen,
29,
welcome
and
to the
3
most
months ago, I got
insane
married
mega
to
ramp
Daniel,
in
the
GTA
love
5
of my
history.
life.
I'm
We've been
talking
together for
sky-high
5 years,
stunts,
and our wedding was
zero
supposed to be
gravity
perfect.
jumps, and
It
crashes
wasn't.
so
My sister
wild.
Olivia
Buckle
is
up
32.
because this
Growing
ride's
up,
gonna
she
be
was the golden
absolute
child.
chaos.
Straight A's, volleyball captain, homecoming queen. I was the artsy disappointment who chose graphic design over law school. But I thought we'd moved past that rivalry. I was wrong. Planning the wedding took a year. Daniel and I saved every penny for something beautiful and intimate. 80 guests at a Napa Valley vineyard. I obsessed over every detail. The flowers, the music, the vintage lace dress I'd found at a boutique after trying on 47 others. I asked Olivia to be my maid of honor. Despite our history, she was my sister. When I asked, she cried and hugged me. I'm so honored, Em. This is going to be the best day ever. I believed her. The bridesmaids wore dusty rose. I sent Olivia the color swatch, the dress length, everything. She confirmed her order in the group chat. Got it, can't wait! But the morning of my wedding, when my bridesmaids arrived at the bridal suite for hair and makeup, Olivia wasn't with them. My best friend Jenna texted her. No response. I called. Straight to voicemail. I tried not to panic. Maybe she was running late. Maybe her phone died. I focused on getting ready, on breathing, on not letting anxiety ruin my day. The ceremony was at 4 p.m. By 3:30, everyone was in place, except Olivia. At 3:45, she finally showed up, and she was wearing white. Not just white, a wedding dress. A full-length, beaded, off-the-shoulder wedding dress with a goddamn train. Her hair was in an elaborate updo with a crystal hairpiece. She looked like a bride. My mouth dropped open. My mom gasped. Jenna looked ready to commit murder. Olivia, what the hell are you wearing? I managed to choke out. She smiled sweetly. Oh, this? I thought it would photograph well. You know how washed out I look in pink. I figured since it's your day, no one would even notice me. No one would notice her in a wedding dress at my wedding. You need to change. Now. Her smile faltered. Don't be dramatic. It's not that big a deal. We're about to start and I don't have anything else to wear. Then you're not standing up there. Her eyes went cold. Fine, I'll just sit with the guests then. But everyone's going to wonder why the maid of honor isn't in the ceremony. That'll be a great story for your perfect day. My mom stepped in, always the peacekeeper. Emma, honey, maybe we can just... No, I cut her off. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. She can either change or leave. Olivia's face twisted. You're really going to uninvite your own sister? On your wedding day? That's really mature, Emma. Daniel appeared in the doorway. He took one look at Olivia and his jaw clenched. Are you serious right now? Oh, here we go. Let me guess. You think I'm being inappropriate too? I think you're being a lot more than inappropriate. You're being cruel. Something flickered in Olivia's eyes. Satisfaction, maybe. Like this was exactly the reaction she wanted. Fine, she said. I'll go. Wouldn't want to ruin Emma's precious day. She grabbed her clutch and walked out, her train sweeping dramatically behind her. The ceremony happened. I smiled for photos. I said my vows. I danced with my husband. But the whole night, I felt this weight in my chest. Olivia had succeeded in making sure I couldn't fully enjoy my own wedding. The next day, still on my honeymoon in Hawaii, I got a text from my cousin Rachel. OMG, did you see what Olivia posted? I opened Instagram. Olivia had posted a photo dump from my wedding, but she'd cropped me out of almost every photo. It was all shots of her in that dress, posing at my venue, holding my bouquet in one photo, standing under my floral arch. The caption, such a beautiful day celebrating love, feeling blessed and can't wait for my turn soon. My turn soon? She wasn't even dating anyone. At least I didn't think she was. I scrolled through the comments. Most people were confused. Wait, whose wedding was this? Did you get married, Olivia? Gorgeous dress. A few people who'd been at the wedding called her out. Girl, this was your sister's wedding. This is weird. Why are you posting like it was your day? Olivia responded to each critical comment with some variation of, just celebrating my sister. Emma knows I support her. I wanted to scream, but Daniel convinced me to let it go. She's trying to get a rise out of you. Don't give her the satisfaction. We got back from our honeymoon 2 weeks later. I was still furious, but I decided to take the high road. I wouldn't engage. I wouldn't let her toxicity poison my new marriage. Then my mom called. Emma, honey, I need to tell you something. I didn't want to say anything before, but Olivia's engaged. I felt my stomach drop. What? She got engaged 3 weeks before your wedding. She didn't tell anyone because she didn't want to take attention away from you. 3 weeks before my wedding. The timeline clicked into place. Mom, if she didn't want attention, why did she show up in a wedding dress? My mom was quiet. I don't know, sweetheart. I thought maybe she was just excited about her own engagement and made a poor choice. Who's she engaged to? His name is Marcus. I haven't met him yet. She's been very private about the whole thing. After I hung up, I sat there processing. Olivia had been engaged for weeks and said nothing, then showed up to my wedding dressed as a bride. This wasn't just sibling rivalry or jealousy. This was calculated. I decided to do some digging. I found Marcus on Facebook. His profile was public. Scrolling through, I saw photos of him and Olivia going back about 4 months. They looked happy, normal. There were pictures of them hiking at restaurants, at what looked like his family's house for Thanksgiving. But then I saw something that made my blood run cold. A photo from 6 months ago, Marcus and a woman who wasn't Olivia. The caption, 5 years with this beautiful soul. Can't wait for forever. I clicked on the woman's profile. Her name was Jessica. Her relationship status, engaged to Marcus Chen. I scrolled through Jessica's photos. She and Marcus were very much together. There were photos from as recent as 2 months ago. She'd even posted about wedding planning, looking at venues, choosing bridesmaid dresses. Then, 3 weeks before my wedding, the posts stopped. I sat there staring at my screen, my mind racing. Olivia was engaged to someone else's fiancé. She'd somehow convinced Marcus to leave Jessica and propose to her in the span of a few weeks. But why? What did she gain from blowing up someone else's relationship? And then it hit me. The timing. 3 weeks before my wedding, right after Marcus proposed, Olivia could have announced her engagement. She could have had her moment. But instead, she stayed quiet and showed up to my wedding in a wedding dress. She'd wanted to upstage me, but she'd also wanted to gauge reactions, to see how she'd look as a bride, to test drive the attention. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Not just for me, but for Jessica, whoever she was. Some woman who'd been with Marcus for 5 years, planning a future, only to have my sister swoop in and destroy it. I found Jessica on Instagram. Her last post was from a month ago. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. New chapter, here I come. I sent her a DM. Hi Jessica, I know this is random, but I think we need to talk about Marcus and my sister Olivia. She responded within an hour. Oh my God, yes. Can we talk on the phone? We spoke for 2 hours. Jessica told me everything. She and Marcus had been together since college. They'd gotten engaged 2 years ago, but kept postponing the wedding because of money, family issues, the pandemic. They'd finally set a date for this coming spring. Then Marcus started acting weird, distant, secretive with his phone. Jessica confronted him, and he admitted he'd met someone at a work conference, someone he connected with in a way he'd never experienced. That someone was Olivia. Marcus broke up with Jessica over text. 2 weeks later, he proposed to Olivia. Jessica was devastated. She'd lost her partner, her future, her sense of stability. Meanwhile, Olivia was posting cryptic quotes about knowing your worth and when the right one comes along, you just know. The worst part, Jessica said, her voice thick, is that she knew about me. Marcus told me he'd mentioned me to her, and she told him that if he was having doubts, I clearly wasn't the right person. She convinced him that their connection was fake. I felt sick. This was worse than I'd thought. Olivia hadn't just stolen someone's fiancé. She'd actively manipulated him into leaving. Jessica, I said slowly, what if I told you Olivia isn't who Marcus thinks she is? What do you mean? I mean she's my sister and I've known her my whole life. And the person she becomes when she wants something is not good. Jessica was quiet. Do you think he knows what she's really like? I don't think he has any idea. We talked for another hour, sharing stories, piecing together a picture of Olivia's manipulation. The more we talked, the more I realized my sister hadn't changed since we were kids. She still needed to win. She still needed to be the center of attention. She still needed to take what wasn't hers. And she'd gotten very, very good at it. By the end of the call, Jessica and I had formed an unlikely alliance. We weren't sure what we were going to do yet, but we both agreed. Marcus deserved to know who he was really marrying. And Olivia? She deserved to face consequences for once in her life. The plan came together over the next week. Jessica still had access to Marcus's Netflix account, which meant she could see what he was watching and when. She noticed he had a pattern. Every night at 10 p.m., he'd watch an episode of whatever show he was binge-watching before bed. She suggested we use that. I was skeptical. How does his TV routine help us? Because he's at Olivia's place most nights now, and I know for a fact that Olivia has a Ring doorbell. It took me a second to follow. You want to show up at her place while he's there? Not show up. Send something. Something he'll see when she opens the door. We decided on a delivery, but not just any delivery. A wedding binder. One of those huge organized planning binders that brides use. We filled it with printouts. Screenshots of Olivia's Instagram posts from my wedding, cropped to look like they were from her day. Vendor quotes with Jessica's name crossed out and Olivia's written in. Even a fake wedding timeline that made it look like Olivia had been planning to marry Marcus before he'd even proposed. The coup de grace was a USB drive taped to the inside cover. On it, we'd compiled everything. Photos of Marcus and Jessica together, texts between Jessica and Marcus about their wedding plans from before the breakup, and a video Jessica had recorded explaining the timeline of their relationship and how it ended.
Crap.
We also included screenshots of messages between Olivia and Marcus from the early days of their relationship. Messages that Jessica had saved before losing access to his accounts. Messages where Olivia said things like, "I knew from the moment I saw you that we were meant to be," and "Some people just stay in relationships out of obligation, but you deserve real passion." The binder was damning. It told a clear story. Olivia had targeted Marcus, convinced him to leave Jessica, and was now rushing him to the altar before he could think too clearly about what had happened. We scheduled the delivery for a Tuesday night at 9:45 p.m. The instructions said the delivery person should ring the doorbell and leave the package. Jessica and I waited on the phone together, anxious and giddy and terrified. At 9:47, Jessica's phone buzzed. He just texted me. My heart raced. What does it say? "We need to talk. Can you call me?" Oh my God, he opened it. For the next 3 hours, Jessica was on the phone with Marcus. I waited, pacing my apartment, checking my phone every 30 seconds. Daniel watched me with concern. "Babe, are you sure about this?" She wore a wedding dress to our wedding, Dan, and she destroyed someone else's relationship for sport, I'm sure. Finally, at 1 a.m., Jessica called me back. He broke up with her. I sat down hard on the couch. What? He said he felt like he'd been in a fog for months. Seeing everything laid out like that, seeing the timeline, hearing my side of the story, it was like he woke up. He said Olivia had been love-bombing him from day one, making him feel like they had this cosmic connection, convincing him that what he had with me was settling. What did Olivia say? He said she tried to deny everything at first. Then she got angry. Told him he was being manipulated by his psycho ex, and that if he couldn't trust her, they had nothing. He said it was like seeing a completely different person. I felt a rush of vindication. So it's over? It's over. He apologized to me for everything. I don't think we're getting back together. Too much has happened, but at least he knows the truth now. And Olivia? I'm guessing she'll figure out pretty soon that you were involved." Jessica was right. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. First from my mom. "What did you do? Olivia is hysterical. She's saying you sabotaged her relationship." Then from Olivia herself. "I know it was you. You couldn't stand that I was happy, so you had to ruin it. You've always been jealous of me, and now you've destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me. I will never forgive you for this." I typed and deleted about 10 different responses. Finally, I settled on, "You wore a wedding dress to my wedding. You destroyed someone else's 5-year relationship, and you've spent our entire lives making me feel like I'm not enough." I didn't destroy your relationship. I just made sure Marcus knew who he was marrying. What happened after that was his choice. She didn't respond. My mom called. "Emma, your sister is devastated. I know what she did at your wedding was wrong, but this is cruel." "Mom, did she tell you about Jessica? Did she tell you that Marcus was engaged to someone else when she started pursuing him?" Silence. "Did she tell you that she deliberately stayed quiet about her engagement so she could wear a wedding dress to my ceremony and make it about her?" "Emma!" "No, Mom, I'm done. I'm done making excuses for her. I'm done being the bigger person. She's spent 3 decades treating me like I'm less than her, and the one time I stand up for myself and for someone else she hurt, I'm the bad guy?" My mom sighed. "You're right. I know you're right. But she's my daughter too, and I hate seeing her in pain. She brought this on herself." We haven't spoken much since then. Olivia blocked me on everything. My mom tries to play mediator, but I've made it clear. I'm not apologizing. Daniel thinks I did the right thing, though he worries the family drama will follow us forever. Jenna threw me a "congratulations on your divorce from your toxic sister" party. Jessica and I have become actual friends. She's even dating someone new, a guy who seems genuinely kind. As for Olivia, I heard through the grapevine that she moved to another state. Fresh start, I guess. Part of me feels bad, but mostly I feel free. Because for the first time in my life, I'm not living in her shadow. I'm not wondering if I'm good enough or successful enough or pretty enough compared to her. I'm just living my life with my husband in my own light. And if that makes me the villain in her story, I can live with that. The wedding dress was just the final straw, but the binder, that was justice.